Haben to have, niche nothing, to have nothing. And then Blair means boy in the field, so boy in the fields has nothing. It's like the full meaning of my name. So my parents just thought it was super funny when I bought a 5-acre field with literally just nothing on it. We bought it, you know, there was nothing, no road. Put in the road the first year, and then I got the shipping container out here, and then I put in this pad where the airstream sits under. We put in the well, and then we put in the electricity all last summer. So yeah, so now there's a little bit more in the field, but yeah, my parents love that one. We're on the Olympic Peninsula on a piece of property that my partner and I bought 3 years ago. Yeah, we bought it when she was pregnant. We were living in Seattle, which is a great central zone to hit all the mountains. But as far as how we wanted to raise our daughter, it wasn't what we were looking for. I love living there up until a couple years ago. It was, as far as being a snowboarder, living in Seattle is great. Stevens and Crystal are kind of an equal distance, you know, and then Snoqualmie's close, and then Baker's a little farther, but it's pretty easy to get to. That's the one drawback about living out on here on the Olympic Peninsula is you're so removed. From here, I drive to Crystal Mountain, which is my home mountain, and it's actually the most convenient to get to from here because you don't have to take a ferry. It's like 4 hours door to door, but I'm fortunate because when I can go to Crystal, I can go and stay at my family's condo. That was kind of our program this year. We'd go to Crystal for 3 or 4 days and then cruise back here. It's nice to take the family with you to the mountains, you know?
Right. How's she doing?
I've never run it. That was the first event I've ever put on. And I thought it went well. I was happy with how it went, you know. It's its own course. I don't think you can really compare it, you know. It was definitely, though, there's a lot of bank slaloms where it's about like generating speed, you know, and you're kind of like always looking for speed. And this course, it was kind of like Crystal. At Crystal, you're not really like looking for speed much in runs. You're like just maintaining speed. It's a steep mountain, you know. And this was a really steep bank slalom. Crystal's just steep and fluty and open and fast. It's really fast. You can really, you know, put it into 5th gear there and just let it fly, which is what I love. I lived up in Glacier for 10 years and I rode Baker a ton, but I think Crystal really developed my style as a snowboarder more than anything. I'm looking for that style. That's why I love Alaska. You know, it reminds me a lot of Crystal, obviously without trees, but you know, you get to Alaska and it's 2,000 feet straight down. really bad year. I was up there for longer than I'd ever been and rode less than, I think I was up there for over a month and I rode less than 8 days, but those weren't full days by any means. But the weather was horrible and the Abbey conditions were sketchy, and like the snow was okay, but it was thin. Yeah, I threw on a helmet. I didn't wear it at first, and it took a couple runs, hit a couple rocks mid-face, and was just kind of like, you know, went to like the one local shop up in Haines and bought a helmet. And definitely thought about my daughter, like in that move. Definitely a motivator for that, for me to, you know, come back alive, I guess, you know. But I never really think that when I'm up there. You don't want to think. You don't think that when you're up there. You wouldn't be there, you know. Like I don't go there to like stay alive. I go there because I feel the most alive there of any place that I've ever been. Well, I mean, as far as like having a kid and snowboarding, it's definitely been like a reality reset of like what's really important, you know. And snowboarding is really important, you know. It's made me realize how important it is, you know, to like have that in my life still, and how much I want it to be in her life. And you know, my parents, you know, brought me up skiing, and I want to bring her up skiing and snowboarding in the mountains and have the same opportunities that I did to, you know, have this connection with the mountains and with the beach. You know, I want to get her surfing just like mine, you know, the ocean. It's the same. It's kind of the reason that, like I said, we moved out of Seattle. We just like, we wanted her to have the space just to run around and go wild. We have a 5-acre field, and it's pretty flat, so, you know, she can have a pretty wide stretch before I have to actually run after her, you know, so she gets to explore here like quite a bit more than a lot of 2.5-year-olds. I'm stoked to see her run around and, you know, kick over flowers and play in the mud and, you know, just cruise.